What did you see in the old archaeology or classical archaeology? क्या देखा? क्या देखा? न्यू आर्कियोलॉजी में क्या? सॉरी, what you have seen in old archaeology? See, you have collected some materials through excavation and just you have interpreted it. For example, if there is sickle, so we interpret that people had practice of cropping. So is it sure that they used sickle for cropping? Who has seen it? Nobody has seen. And they have not written anything which we have gone through. है कि नहीं? So classical archaeology is totally based on logical assumption. That we just logically assume that these tools might have been used for this purpose. Because today we are using harvester for harvesting crops. They might have used for other purpose. So that is the shortcomings in classical archaeology. So that's why some authors have developed new archaeology where they will study they will study prehistoric societies with some evidences. समझा ना? एविडेंस के साथ पढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. So where are the evidences? Evidence कहाँ है? See, they did not leave behind any written documents. They are not alive. So what these scholars are doing, they are studying present day ethnic communities. There are many tribal societies living like primitive people. So they will stay with them. They will study how they are making tools, how they are using tools. That is a kind of evidence to understand prehistoric societies in a new manner. So उनको तो आप study नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन you can study present day primitive people, present day ethnic communities. Those have been living like hunters and gatherers, practicing shifting cultivation. Even there are many tribal groups, they are still using stone implements. They do not have access to metals directly. For example, tribals of Andaman and Nicobar Island, mostly they are using stone tools. They are using metals, but they are not mining. They are not smelting. How they use metals? जैसे कि some ship has been destroyed. Ships, because it is they live along the ocean. Now, after the destruction of a ship, lot of iron metals will be available there. So they are collecting these irons and using it as a tool. So scholars, those are practicing ethnoarchaeology, they will study this kind of people. How they are using tools, how they are making tools. That is studying prehistoric societies with evidence. समझा ना? तो यहाँ पे सेम लिख लो. ये कॉम्बिनेशन सही है ना? बिल्कुल दिखाई दे रहा है। एक मिनट छोटू, so we have discussed this part. ये वाला part. You are not supposed to write what is classical archaeology. You just refer to limitations in classical archaeology. it is based on assumption, not based on evidence. That's why an attempt has been made to study prehistoric societies with evidences. ठीक है? So what is ethnoarchaeology? Studying prehistoric societies by studying present day primitive people. Ethnoarchaeology is a study of prehistoric societies by studying present day ethnic communities. So they provide evidence. ठीक है? Historical background जो है, ethnoarchaeology was started with the study of Franco-Cantabrian Paleolithic art. Franco Paleolithic art. It is a kind of Paleolithic art in some sites in France. That artistic activities were done by Paleolithic people. Same kind of artistic activities have been done by Australian Aborigines who are alive today. So they are studying artistic activities like Paleolithic artistic activities in France. जो Australian Aborigines जो है, they have done some Paleolithic artistic activities which resembles with these activities in France. So they are alive today. So anthropology studied Australian Aborigines to understand these artistic activities. Those who have done it, they are not alive. They did not leave behind any document. समझा ना? But Australian Aborigines, they have done this kind of activities in recent period. So scholars study Australian Aborigines in order to understand Franco-Cantabrian Paleolithic art. ठीक है? Then during 1950s, if USA scholar Chang जो है he gave a big impetus to the study of ethnoarchaeology. He explained what is the importance of ethnoarchaeology. Chang, a Chinese origin American scholar, he defined ethnoarchaeology. He suggested how to study ethnoarchaeology. Then in 1960s, Binford, he gave a set of methodologies to study ethnoarchaeology. So in this way, a branch of ethnoarchaeology has developed in the section of archaeology. ठीक है? So this is the background of ethnoarchaeology. What is methodology? Even they are using, face-to-face method. अब बोले इसमें क्या face-to-face method है? So what they do? Those are ethnoarchaeologists. They go to people who are like prehistoric people. Just say, I told you about Australian Aborigines, in Andamanese Islanders. They are not prehistoric societies, but they are living like prehistoric people. They are cut off from technologically advanced communities. They still use primitive tools. Even they are using stone tools. So these scholars will go to these people, they stay with them for several months together. They study how they are making tools, with which technology they are making tools. And they are using those technologies I have discussed in the context of lower Paleolithic culture. वही सब टेक्नोलॉजी इस्तेमाल करता है. Some anthropologists studied primitive people in Mexico, and they are using saddle corn for husking paddy into rice. So by observing these people, they come to know through these ways, through these technologies, prehistoric people also produce tools. Prehistoric people also use tools. ठीक है? So this is a face-to-face technique. हुआ कि नहीं? Face-to-face में रहना पड़ता साथ में. They participate in day-to-day cultural practice. यहाँ पे cultural practice क्या है? How they are making tools. वो देखता है. How they are using tools. So if they want to study Paleolithic people, they will stay with hunters and gatherers. They will stay with fishing communities. If they want to study Neolithic cultures with evidence, so they will stay with those tribes practicing shifting cultivation like prehistoric people. Who were Neolithic people? What was their main livelihood? क्या था? Shifting cultivation. So there are many tribes across the world today. They are practicing shifting cultivation as done by Neolithic people. They are using ground and polish tools. So, what is the purpose of your study? Accordingly, they will find out primitive people. And they understand prehistoric societies with evidences. ठीक है? But one problem ethnoarchaeologists face quite often, that is, they generalize too much. काफी ज्यादा generalize करता है. And there is warning from many quarters that don't generalize too frequently and in every context. Why? You can understand it with an example. You know, many societies use pendant. Pendant. The locket. All are using pendant for the same purpose. Some may be using pendant for decorating body. है ना? Some may use pendant to ward off evil spirit. So now if you generalize that all the prehistoric people use pendant for warding off evil spirit, that will be a wrong conclusion. They might have used pendant for other purpose. Is it necessary they all prehistoric people will use pendant for the same purpose? So that's why there is warning against too much generalization. You generalize, but in a limited manner. So this is all about ethnoarchaeology or new archaeology. ओल्ड स्टूडेंट लोग है कि नहीं? ऑनलाइन वाले कुछ दिखाई नहीं दे रहे. जो ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स है ऐसे लिखते हैं, ऐसा लिखने की आदत नहीं है, लगता है नजदीक है, हाथ देना तो दूर है. दो चार दिन लाएगा एड्रेस करने के लिए. ठीक है, जब ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स आर देयर, ये लोग कमेंट तो लिख सकते हैं. मैं 1 मिनट फोन कर कहता हूँ ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स की क्या करूँ. 1 मिनट, आज पहला क्लास है ना, थोड़ा डाउट हो रहा है. अभी हम लोग क्या करेंगे? डेटिंग. डेटिंग. Dating methods. So what do you know about dating method? बचपन में तो पढ़ा होगा, हिस्ट्री में भी पढ़ता होगा. When you go through prehistoric part of ancient India, you also refer to कार्बन डेटिंग. तो कम से कम करता है. क्या है डेटिंग मेथड बताओ? क्या जानता है? ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट बताओ, व्हाट इज डेटिंग मेथड? क्या नितिन? अंग्रेजी में. देखो, dating means finding out time period. That is dating. There are two types of dating method. एक है relative dating method. Second one is absolute dating method. In relative dating method comes stratigraphy, then fluorine dating. Fluorine. By measuring fluorine content of bones and teeth, you can come to know whether a teeth is older, younger. Relative means through this method you cannot know exact time period. Only you can say what is older, what is younger. Exact time period you cannot say. आप सिर्फ ये बोल सकते हो कौन पुराना है, कौन नया है. In case of absolute dating method, you can find out exact time period. For example, Darwin published his famous book on theory of living being, sorry, evolution of living being through origin of species by natural selection. He wrote a book, Origin of Species by Natural Selection, in 1859. The 1859 जो है, it is an absolute dating, which is calendrical, which happened in a specific time. So in absolute dating, there are various methods. एक तो है रेडियो कार्बन डेटिंग. It includes carbon 14 dating, potassium argon dating, then रेसमाइजेशन. काफी सारे डेटिंग मेथड है और आते रहते हैं. Resmization. So, dating method. So sometimes all the dating methods can be asked together. Write a short note on dating method. But nowadays they are asking individual dating method. In 1 year there was a question, write a short note on relative dating methods. So write both of them. Then this method is frequently asked, carbon dating method. ठीक है, देखो, what is relative dating method, which is acalendrical. It is not done with the help of calendar. It doesn't say exact time period. With this dating method, you can come to know which one is older, which one is younger. You cannot say what is the time period. ठीक है, which is called acalendrical tool. So there are two types of relative dating methods: stratigraphy and fluorine dating method. Means by observing layers of the earth, you can say which object is older, which object is younger. Take the example of stratigraphy in hills. तो हिल्स जो है, it is the result of deposition of rocks. Rocks are deposited one after another and hills are formed. So if you dig a hillside, it's like this. This is a layer. This is another layer. What you will come to know? Objects in the bottommost layers are older because these layers have been formed earlier, and objects found in topmost layer, they are younger. यही होगा ना, because hills are the result of deposition of rocks. So bottommost layer shows older objects. Your topmost layer gives us younger objects. ठीक है, that is stratigraphy in hills. And stratigraphy in river valley. Suppose this is hill and this is river. This is hill and river valley is formed along the hills. So when you consider river valley with reference to river, topmost layer जो है, they give us oldest object because river was started from here. Because of soil erosion, it has come down. So any objects found in the topmost layer, they will be older object. Bottom layers क्या होगा? Younger object. समझा कि नहीं? So it is just opposite to hill stratigraphy. ठीक है? But there is some limitation in the stratigraphy. क्या limitation है? See, there can be upheavals or downheavals due to movement of earth layers. When there is plate tectonic, there will be either upheavals or downheavals. So because of that movement of layers, sometimes stratigraphy misleads us. Suppose there is a plate tectonic movement, it has come here. It has come here. So what you will think that objects found in this layer, they are older, and objects found in this layer, they are younger. But actually what happened? These layers have moved from their original place to present one. So is it not going to mislead us? अब तो older मान के चलोगे. So similarly, in case of hill stratigraphy, there is also upheavals and downheavals. So that is the shortcoming. It may sometime mislead us. आपका स्टडी गलत हो जाएगा. Second, because of upheavals or downheavals, sometimes objects go so deep in the down, we cannot have access to them. हमें मिला ही नहीं, बहुत नीचे चला गया. You have a limitation to excavation. एक लिमिट तक ही जा सकता ना, इतना नीचे चला गया, वो मिला ही नहीं. So again that will make us confused. So this is the problem of stratigraphic study. ठीक है. Now fluorine dating method. बताओ पिंसी, ये सब सुना मुना है कि नहीं? क्या है सुना? तुमसे पूछ रहा हूँ. सही बोला. देखो, in living objects, like when bones, teeth, they're alive, it has no fluorine content, but it has nitrogenous content. When animals die, they get buried in soil. These bones, teeth, they lost nitrogen, gain fluorine from the surrounding medium. So if a bone has been deposited in a particular soil, if it has more fluorine, that means it is an older object. It has absorbed fluorine from the soil. So more fluorine, less nitrogen. So older object. More nitrogen, less fluorine, younger object. So bones, teeth, when they are buried in soil, automatically it will lose nitrogen, gain fluorine. So what is the limitation in fluorine dating? With this method, you can study only organic element. You cannot study inorganic element. They neither having nitrogen in their body, nor they absorb fluorine from the surrounding soil. It is possible only in case of living objects, particularly bones and teeth. Inorganic की केस में possible ही नहीं है. ठीक है. So whenever you are discussing a particular dating method, must refer to advantages and disadvantages. In the question, examiners will not ask that write with advantages and disadvantages. So you must give advantages, disadvantages. You must give principles. समझा राज? Then एब्सोल्यूट डेटिंग मेथड, कहाँ चला गया? रेडियोमेट्रिक डेटिंग, व्हाट इज दिस? देखो, those are radioactive substances. They are very much unstable. क्यों? So their nucleus are constantly losing particles. That's why it is unstable. And you know, every radioactive substance losing particles at a definite rate, which is called radioactive decay. जानता कि नहीं? Radioactive decay. And this radioactive decay is particle specific. In this context, we have to keep in mind half-life. Half-life. पानी देना, पानी ले, गिरेगा नहीं. What is the half-life? बताओ कृति. अरे ये सब चीज तो बचपन में पढ़ता है. तुम कुछ भी हो जाए, हाफ लाइफ तो इट इज मेटीरियल स्पेसिफिक है. हाफ लाइफ इज द टाइम इन व्हिच हाफ ऑफ द की half of the particles have been decayed into new particles. वो decay पूरा complete नहीं करता. जैसे carbon 14 is decayed into carbon 12. So half life is the time period in which half of the particles from a nucleus has been decayed into new particles. It is a time period in which half of the particles from nucleus decayed into new particles. कार्बन का जैसे 5200 कुछ ऐसे ही है, देखता हूं 5730 years. So half of the carbon 14 will be decayed into carbon 12. जैसे जो पोटासियम है ना, इसका हाफ लाइफ है 1.3 बिलियन. पोटासियम 40 का. तो पहले इसको डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. देखो, लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स और ऑर्गेनिक एलिमेंट्स, दे हैव carbon 14 and carbon 12 in their body. When they are alive, they receive carbon 14 equal to carbon 12 in the body. जितना carbon 12 है उतना carbon 14 receive करते हैं. But when organic beings are dead, they stop absorbing carbon 14 from the surrounding. कोई कार्बन 14 नहीं आता है. जो रह गया था बॉडी में वही रहता है. When they are alive, there is exchange of carbon 14 and carbon 12. If they absorb some amount of carbon 14 from the surrounding, they will leave carbon 12 in that amount to the surrounding. जब मर जाते हैं, there is no absorbance of carbon 14. जो बॉडी में रह गया था वही है. Now after the death of living beings, carbon 14 starts decaying and it's decayed into carbon 12. ठीक है. Now we have the knowledge of half-life of carbon 14, 5730. So by calculating the proportion of carbon 14's decay with the half-life of carbon 14, we can come to know what is the date of that particular living object. कितना loss हुआ है, that should be measured and that should be calculated with reference to half-life of the carbon 14. Then you can understand what is the date of this living object. It can be bone, it can be teeth, it can be anything, tree. वो भी तो living object ही है ना, any living being. So proportion of decay of carbon 14 to the half-life of carbon 14 suggests us actual date of that living object. वो calculate करते हो लोग. So what is the advantage of this method? So by using this method, we can date living objects. Any living objects can be dated with this method. And we can date up to 50,000 only. Beyond 50,000 we cannot date with carbon 14. क्योंकि after that no carbon 14 will be left. सारे डीके हो जाता है. अगर सारे डीके हो गया कैसे कैलकुलेट करेगा? So advantage जो है, with the help of this method we can date living objects. What are the disadvantages? With this method we cannot date non-living objects. क्योंकि non-living object में carbon 14 आ जा रहा, carbon 14 carbon 12 होता नहीं है. Secondly, with this method we can date only up to 50,000 years. Beyond that, this method is not applicable. And why? Beyond 50,000, carbon 14s no more left. So these are demerits of this method. समझा? तो ये है आपका कार्बन 14. देन पोटेशियम आर्गन डेटिंग. जो पोटेशियम 40 जो है, it is decayed into argon 40. And half life of potassium 40 ना सर्दी बहुत मुझे लगा, गला चूक हो जाता. 1.3 बिलियन half life. तो क्या है, in some rocks, particularly volcanic rocks, in high pressure and high temperature, potassium 40 exists. So when there is volcanic activities, there will be very high temperature, high pressure, होता कि नहीं? In that condition, potassium 40 will be available. ठीक है? When volcanic activities cool down and solidifies, potassium 40 starts decaying. And it starts decaying into argon 40. ठीक है? And we know this is the half-life. So proportion of decaying potassium 40 into argon 40 with reference to 1.3 billion can suggest dating of that particular inorganic object. कोई डाउट? अब इसका फायदा क्या है? With this method we can date inorganic objects. ये जो you have seen geological time scale, all these time scales have been dated with this method. You can date up to millions of years. ठीक है? तो first of all, it can be used for dating inorganic object, and it has been used for finding out geological time scale. That means it can be used for dating millions of years. And with this technique, we can date even up to 2005 years old object. इसका एक तो higher end है, एक lower end है. What are the demerits? This method cannot be used to date organic objects. Sometimes we have to find out date of billions of years, age of earth, formation of life on the earth. That cannot be dated. Then those objects having date below 2500 years, they cannot be dated. 2500 साल से नीचे भी तो होता है ना ऑब्जेक्ट, उसको हम नहीं कर सकते इस टेक्निक से. मिलियंस तो यू कैन डेट अप टू मिलियंस, but you cannot date up to billions. अभी तो जरूरत है ना. So that is तो ये तो गया रेडियोमेट्रिक डेटिंग. नाउ रेसमाइजेशन आ जाएगा आदत. अभी वो वाला प्रॉब्लम दूर हुआ, जो बोर्ड मुझे लग रहा था नजदीक है, अभी रियल गैप दिख रही है. और थोड़ा सा ना शुरू में घबराहट भी हो रहा था, नया ऐसे कभी किया ही नहीं. और यही पहला ही तो क्लास है. कल कहाँ क्लास लिया था, वहां पे लिख के आया. There was no class yesterday because of upgradation of technique. There was no class. And who told you that there was class, offline class? ये लोग कहाँ कहाँ से सुन लेता है. वीडियो कॉन ने तुम्हारा नेट खराब है. ये पुराना वाला टेक्निक नहीं है, सब कुछ नेट पे डिपेंडेंट है. इसके साथ नेट का कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है. जो यहाँ पे करेंगे फोटो खींचकर उस कैमरे से, ये बहुत जो मोबाइल की जो स्पीड है ना, उससे भी अच्छा दिखेगा. अमाइनो एसिड सुना है? अमाइनो एसिड सुना है? तुम तो मैथ के स्टूडेंट हो ना। तुम क्या स्ट्रक्चर है अमाइनो एसिड का? अमाइनो एसिड और क्या होता है? देखो, बीच में ये है, जैसे अमाइनो ग्रुप, कार्बोनिल ग्रुप, कार्बोक्सिल ग्रुप, दिस इज आर ग्रुप, ये है हाइड्रोजन. So if R group is on the right hand side, it is called D amino acid. Right hand side में है. If it is on left side, it is called left amino acid. इसको बोलता है आइसोमेरिज्म. याद आ रहा है? वो कार्बोहाइड्रेट में आता है. जो मन में आ रहा है सब अमीनो एसिड चला बोल के चलाएगा क्या? देखो, when living beings are alive, they have only L amino acid. Means R group is always on right side, sorry, left side. Remember, when living beings are alive, it has only L amino acid. When living beings are dead, this L amino acid is converted into D amino acid. This process of transmission from L to D amino acid is called racemization. समझा ना? अब there are 20 different amino acids which are in different combination making lakhs of protein. So different amino acid has different rate of racemization. Different amino acids have different rate of racemization. सबका लिस्ट दिया हुआ है किसका कितना रेट है. So by using this differential rate of racemization of different amino acid, we can find out date of a living object. ठीक है. अब what are the advantages of racemization? देखो, with the help of amino acid racemization, we can determine age which cannot be determined by carbon dating method. Means we can use this method to determine age beyond 50,000 years. समझा ना? And we can date organic beings. Because this method can be used only for dating organic objects. A amino acid is not found in non-living being. Non-living being में amino acid नहीं होता है, only living being में होता है. So with the help of this method, सुभाषिस का जोन लिखा. ये जोन क्या है सुभाषिस? अरे racemization means process of conversion of L amino acid to D amino acid after death of a living object. That is racemization. ठीक है. So what are the demerits of this method? With the help of this method, there is one more advantage. In case of determining age by racemization, you do not need much amount of sample. थोड़ा सा सैंपल से आपको पता चल जाएगा. And while you are using radiocarbon dating, you need lots of sample. बहुत ज्यादा फॉसिल मटेरियल चाहिए. इसमें थोड़ा सा होने से मिल जाएगा. You can determine. तो what are the disadvantages? केमिस्ट्री तो सब्जेक्ट है सुभाषिस का, बायोकेमिस्ट्री थोड़ी है. देखो, with the help of amino acid racemization, we cannot determine age of inorganic object. ठीक है, you cannot determine objects having age of millions of years. उतना भी नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है, यही है. So what will be the conclusion? क्या लिखेगा कंक्लूजन में? ना लिखेगा नहीं. अरे जो कह रहे वही कहना, तो कम शब्द में कहने की कोशिश करो. जो कह रहा है सही कह रहा है, कम शब्द में कहो. ये तो 10 नंबर का तो क्वेश्चन आएगा. अगर 100 वर्ड अगर कंक्लूजन में दे दिया तो मैनेज कैसे करेगा? समझा ना मेरी बात? सही कह रहा है, वो भी धीरे धीरे करना चाहिए. डूइंग विद इन द वर्ड लिमिट एंड टाइम लिमिट. Simply, we should use a particular method according to requirement. Use a method depending upon the needs. सारे मेथड करने की जरूरत ही नहीं. ठंड लग रहा है, इसी बंद करे. मेरा तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, थोड़ा सा गले में खिचखिच हो रहा है. अरे डिटेल ही कहाँ पढ़ लिया, थोड़ा सा ही तो पढ़ा. अच्छा, अभी हम लोग करेंगे इंडियन पैलियोएंथ्रोपोलॉजी. दैट इज रामापिथेकस, शिवापिथेकस, नॉर्मदा मैन. One question will be there from these three. तो एक क्वेश्चन आपको मिल जाएगा. मतलब सोचो कितना बढ़िया टॉपिक है. 3 में से 1 आना ही आना है. तो इसके लिए कुछ टर्मिनोलॉजीज बता दे पहले.